young assistant to Mr. Gates. Phil, do you want to? Mr. Gates said. Yeah, sure, Phil said. Want to what? I wondered. 32. May I have the mic? Phil said. I passed the mic to him. Namaste, Phil addressed the audience. That one word in Hindi made the audience swoon in ecstasy. This is how we Indians are. If white guys speak even a tiny bit of Hindi, we love them. Kaise hai? Phil said. The crowd roared in excitement. We loved the show. Congratulations to all students, Mubarak, he said. Applause rent the air. We found the students here extremely talented. We feel they deserve to have more opportunities to learn. We have decided to give the school a dozen computers, with all our software preloaded. The crowd clapped. I did too, wondering what we would do with computers without electricity. Maybe they will come with computer tables, I thought. We could use the tables. Phil continued, of course, computers alone will not be enough in a school that needs infrastructure. Thus, the Gates Foundation would like to give the school a one-time grant of $50,000 and, subject to inspection, a grant of $10,000 a year for the next 5 years. My head felt light. I saw the activity around me in a haze. Riya jumped. Really, she stood up and jumped. Everything else was a blur. The media sprang into action. Reporters barged ahead of the front row to take pictures. My mother couldn't contain her excitement. She came on the podium and translated the announcement in Hindi and converted the amounts to rupees. 20 lakh rupees now, and 4 lakhs a year for the next 5 years. We will now make this one of the best schools in Bihar, my mother said. The crowd stood up and continued to clap. MLA Ojha inserted his face in front of as many cameras as possible. My mother gave me a hug. Samantha came up to me and whispered in my ear, "Congratulations, Madhav, you did it. We will talk later, okay? I need to rush. I'll call you." Yes, thank you, Samantha. Thank you so much. Here's my card, Phil said as he slipped one in my hand. Your work has impressed us. I know Street Stephens. To give up a career and come here is admirable. I wanted Riya to hear this too. I looked for her but she was nowhere in sight. Crowds of villagers filled the stage. Security personnel escorted the Gates Foundation delegation out of the venue to their cars. Thank you, Rajkumar Sahib, a villager tried to touch my feet. You are our hero, said another. I wanted to bring Riya on stage. But the crowd wouldn't let me get past them. The crowd lifted me. I was thankful. At least it would be easier to spot Riya from someone's shoulder. Rajkumar Madhav, said one. Zindabad. The others shouted in response. I saw her empty seat. Where did she go? I wondered. The crowd bobbed me up and down. I looked around frantically. There was no sign of her. The media wanted quotes. I remember saying this was a fantastic outcome that would change the future of thousands of students of Dumarao. Are you happy? One reporter asked me. Oh? Yes, I said. I was happy. I mean, I should be happy, I told myself. Where the hell was Riya? My mother came to me. The media turned to her. Ma, have you seen Riya? I said. Who? My friend. She was sitting in the front row. Where did she go? My mother shook her head. She turned to the reporters. I extracted myself from the crowd on stage. MLA Ojha came up to me. Congratulations, Rajkumar ji. Lot of money, eh? Thanks, Ojha ji. Thank you for the opportunity. It's okay. Now are we sharing it or what? He said. I looked at him and his slimy eyes. He saw my shocked expression. He burst into laughter. Joking, Rajkumar ji. Always so serious. Of course, it is all for the school. I smiled and excused myself. The crowd thinned in about 20 minutes. Most of the parents and students had left. I asked the school staff if they had seen Riya. She was in the front row. We saw her stand up when the white man announced the money, Tarachandji said. I went to the makeshift parking area. No cars. The delegation had left long back. I couldn't find Riya's car either. I called Riya. Nobody picked up. I tried again, thrice. No response. I called Riya's driver. I am on leave. Madam must have taken another driver, he said. I hung up. I wondered what to do next. Where could she have gone? Did she get an urgent call from home? Office? Where could she be? Madhav sir, a girl's voice interrupted my chain of thought. It was Sabnam, my student from class 3. She wore a dhoti and a kurta, having played a villager in the Krishna skit. Her parents stood behind her. I folded my hands to wish them. They thanked me for a great function. Madhav sir, Didi left something for you. Sabnam handed me a brown envelope. Riya Didi said to give this to you after the function. She left while you were on stage. Did she tell you where she was going? Sabnam shook her head. Did she go in a car? Sabnam nodded and left with her parents. I tore open the envelope. Where are you? My mother shouted from a distance. Here only, I said. I slipped the envelope into my pocket. Many people are coming home for lunch to celebrate. Come, let's go. 33. Our VIP guests had come to the Haveli for lunch. What a son you have, Kanta auntie, one of my mother's childhood friends, said. He deserves to be king. He is our Asli Rajkumar, said Bela Chachi, a third cousin of my mother. I thanked my aunts for their compliments. Ma, I need to go upstairs to my room. Why? What about your lunch? I'm tired. I'll have it later. I ran upstairs and shut the door to my room. I took out the envelope again. Inside was a computer printout of a letter. Dear Madhav, I want you to remain calm when you read this. And, if possible, be calm afterwards too. I am writing this letter to tell you something important. I am leaving Patna. I am not well, Madhav. I think you noticed my cough over the past month. It is not an allergy. Lung carcinoma is what the oncologist said. Lung cancer. I don't know how. You know I don't smoke. But sometimes it happens to non-smokers. And I had to be one of them. I don't know why many things happened in my life, actually, so maybe this is all part of the crazy plan God has for me. Marriage, divorce and disease, all within a span of 3 years. The funny thing is, you came into my life at various stages too. Perhaps we were not meant to be. I must thank you for accepting me as a friend again, Madhav. I was so lost. I made mistakes. I held so much back from you and yet you cared for me. I know you wanted more, but I'm sorry I was unable to give it to you. The first time, it wasn't the right time. The second time, well, I have no time. I couldn't have asked for a better 2 months than those else spent in Patna. To be able to help you prepare for your speech was a wonderful and special time. The best part was that despite the challenge, you never quit. I asked you to stay back last night. I had no right to. I just felt greedy and selfish. I wanted more of your caring, while knowing I couldn't give you anything in return. I know what I mean to you, and if I ask you to care without being able to reciprocate myself, you will. Hence, I decided to go. I won't make it harder for you than it needs to be. I'm not one for details. Suffice to say, I have a little over 3 months left. The last month is supposed to be horrible. I will skip the gory parts. But trust me, you don't want to know. You have something meaningful going on in your life. Your school is beautiful. And if Bill Gates does what I think he will, you will be able to make it even better. If that happens, I don't want to be here diverting your attention. I have seen your love. I don't want to see your pity. I am a basketball girl. That is how I want to stay in your mind forever. Your basketball girl, I shall leave you with your school and your mother. Meanwhile, in what little time I have, I plan to travel everywhere I can. In the last month, I will find a corner for myself in this world where I don't bother anyone. Then I will go. You know what? On my last day, I will think of you. A good thing has come of my decision to leave here. I felt free enough to tell you everything. I don't have to hold back or say the right thing anymore. For instance, it isn't just you who had a sleepless night at my place. I never slept either. I thought of how hard it was going to be to leave you. Funny, I've never felt that way about leaving this world. But leaving you, yes, that is difficult. So, no crying. No looking for me. No being a Devdas. You are such a good-looking and caring guy, you'll find a lovely girl. Someone who isn't a mess like me. Someone who will love you like you deserve to be loved. I can't wait for tomorrow. You will rock the stage. I want to end this letter by saying something I wanted to say to at least someone in this lifetime. So, here goes. I love you, Madhav Jha. I absolutely, completely love you. And will do so to my last day. Bye, Madhav. Take care. Riya. My eyes welled up. Tears rolled down my cheeks. My limbs felt weak. I struggled to stand. The letter fell from my hands. I picked it up and read it again. Memories of me sitting in Riya's car came to me. Images flashed in my head, her fancy wedding card box, the glucose biscuits and her driving off. She had disappeared to get married then. She had disappeared to die now. In both cases, she had taken, to use a tough English word, unilateral decisions. I called her number again. This time it was switched off. Perhaps she was driving back to Patna and passing through a no-network area. Or maybe she had thrown away her SIM card. I went numb, like someone had hit me on the head with a hammer. Nothing mattered to me. The guests at home, the Gates Foundation grant, nothing. Riya had lung cancer, and she hadn't even mentioned it. How could she do this to me? Patna, go to Patna, I told myself. She would go home first, obviously. I ran downstairs to the living room. A crowd was gathered there. Congratulations, Madhav Bhai. What a speech you gave, said the Sarpanch. He spoke Hindi and possibly didn't know a word of English. Hello, sir. I am from Dainik Bhaskar. We would like to profile you for our Sunday magazine, a reporter said. I found my mother. Patna? Now? She said. The foundation people need me to sign some paperwork. I thought they went to Gaya for the other program. Some of them did. Since they have announced the aid, I need to sign documents. Go after lunch. Right now we have guests. Ma, I need to go now, I said. My mother sensed something amiss. Where is that divorcee friend of yours? She said. Sari and what all she wore today. Her name is Riya, Ma. Not divorcee friend, I said, irritated. I didn't make her a divorcee. She's dying, I said. What? I told her about Riya being ill. Poor girl. So young. I have to go to Patna. You are telling me or asking for my permission? I will call you, I said and left. Locked. That's how I found Riya's house. The neighbors had no clue. Madam is strange. I have never had a client like this, said the broker, Hemant. I had called him in case he knew anything. What happened? I said. Where are you? He said. At her apartment. It's locked. Wait, I need to come there anyway. Hemant arrived in 20 minutes. She called me last night. She said the keys will be in her letter box, he said. Keys? Hemant and I walked over to the letter boxes in the building compound. He slid his hand in and drew out a bunch of keys. When Madam called me yesterday, she told me she was leaving town. Needs to surrender the house, Hemant said, panting as we climbed the stairs. Surrender? I echoed stupidly. I told her there is a notice period. Her security deposit will be forfeited. And? She said she didn't care. She said the landlord could keep the deposit. He unlocked the apartment. We went in. Her furniture and TV were all there. I went to the kitchen, everything seemed to be in its place, from the condiments to the appliances. The utensils and the gas stove were still there. I went to her bedroom. I only found her clothes. Cupboard empty. She's left most of her goods here, Hemant said. She said I could sell them. She did? Really, she did, Hemant said, worried I might stake a claim. Madam said I could sell these goods to cover any costs of breaking the lease or finding the landlord a new tenant. What else did she say? I said. Sir, Elle can keep these things? Hemant, tell me exactly what she said. Did she say where she was going? No, sir. Sir, even the TV I can keep? Hemant, I said, grabbing hold of him by the shoulder. What else did she say? She said she wouldn't be coming back as she has quit her job. Did she say where was she going? I said, shaking his shoulder. No, sir, Hemant said, looking scared. Sir, you want some of these things? Really, I am not that type of person. She did say I could keep them. I ignored him and went to the balcony. I looked down at the street. I took out the letter from my pocket and read it again. I love you, it said at the end. I had read that line over 100 times on my way to Patna. Not fair, Riya, I said out loud, not fair. Sir? Hemant came out to the balcony. If you hear anything from her, her company, her friends or anyone, let me know, I said. Sure, sir. Sir, I will move her items to a godown. I can wait for some time in case someone comes for them before selling them off. Whatever, I said. 34. Chetan Bhagat's room. Chanakya Hotel, Patna. You okay? I said. He had paused to wipe his tears. I gave him time. He bit his lip, but it was a losing battle. Soon, he was crying like a 2-year-old, his tall torso slumped on the chair. I don't know why I'm crying. It was a long time ago, Madhav said in between sobs. How long? 2 years and 3 months. 3.5 months, actually. Since she left? Yes. He excused himself and went to the toilet. I made 2 cups of green tea. We had finished our first cup of chai a long time ago. He came out in a few minutes. He had washed his face. Sorry, he said. I lost it. Here, have some more tea. I gave a cup to him. He took a sip. What tea is this? Green tea. No milk? No sugar? He said. He looked at me like I was a vegetarian vampire. It's good for you, I said. Is it? Anyway, thanks, he said. So, Madhav, what happened then? You met the broker. You saw her empty house. Then? Did you try to find her? He nodded. I did. I called her company. They said she had submitted her resignation and left, letting go of all her benefits in return for a shorter notice period. When did she resign? A week before writing the letter to me. So she knew she was leaving? I said. Yes. When she told me to stay that night, she knew it was our last night together. She had planned it. He grew sad again. What else did you do? I asked the company for the list of assigned doctors. I met them. They said Riya had come only once, when she first had a cough. After that she had preferred to consult with her family doctors. In Delhi? Yes. In fact, I went to Delhi. To look for her? I had to go there anyway, to complete the paperwork for the grant. I went to her house. She wasn't there. You met her parents? Her mother. Her father had passed away a month ago. He sipped his tea and turned silent. Did her mother know anything? I said. No. She knew less than I did. According to her, Riya had called her and said she might do a meditation course. That is why her phone wasn't reachable, she told me. You told her about the cancer? Couldn't. I didn't have the guts to. I just expressed my condolences over her husband's death and left. And you came back to Bihar? Eventually, yes. Before that, I called every top hospital in Delhi to ask about Riya. Nobody knew where she was. I contacted her family doctor. He hadn't heard from her for years. I called her old friends from college. They had lost touch with her. I searched on the internet. She wasn't on Factbook or any other site. I tried contacts at phone companies. I called the major yoga ashrams in the country. Nothing. His face fell. I could see he found this conversation difficult. I tried for 3 months. I hoped she would call me one more time before she left this world. She didn't. You're okay now? I was okay. Until these journals popped up. For the last 2 years, I have focused exclusively on the school. The grant has made us one of the best schools in the area. You should definitely come to visit. I will. Madhav, you loved her a lot, didn't you? She is the only girl I ever loved. I don't know if it is a lot, or less than a lot. I do know one thing, though. What? I will never love again. Ever. Why? Something is broken inside me. I don't have the equipment or wiring or whatever one needs to fall in love anymore. I stood up from my chair and went to the bedside table. He continued to talk, more to himself than me. I have my school. I have my mother. That is my life. I picked up the journals from the bedside table. I brought them to Madhav. So how did you get these journals? Hemant called me. He had taken all of Riya's stuff to the go down to sell it. However, he had missed a wooden box in the far corner of the kitchen loft. The loft was a storage space in the kitchen to keep dry groceries. A company took the house on lease after Riya. They used the apartment as a guest house. They almost never used the kitchen. 2 years later, the company vacated the apartment and a family of 4 rented it. The lady of the family found the box and handed it to Hemant. Hemant, in turn, called me and handed me the box with the journals. I placed the journals in Madhav's lap. Here, I said, take these. Why? I said I don't want to. I can't. Just take them, I said in a firm voice. He kept his hand on the notebooks in his lap. I have marked out 6 legible entries. You need to read them, buddy, I said. No, he said and placed the books back on the dining table. I told you, I can't. I made myself get over her during these last 2 years. Now to read all this will only undo all that. Trust me, Madhav. You need to read them. Riya's journal. Legible entry number 1. The 1st of November 2002. This journal is a birthday gift from me to me. It is my 15th birthday. Happy birthday to me. I feel odd celebrating birthdays now. I am not a grown-up, but I don't feel like a child either. They say people write secrets in journals. Should I write one down? They say I am so quiet. Silent Riya. Mysterious Riya. Shy Riya. I don't answer them. All I want to say is, if you crush a flower before it blooms, will it ever bloom as bright later? I was not quiet as a child. I became this way. Dad knows I changed. Dad knows I remember everything. Still, he pretends nothing happened. I do the same. He hasn't touched me for the last 3 years. He dare not. I don't know why I did not tell Mom. Maybe I didn't even know if it was right or wrong at that time. What could she have done anyway? Dad gave me a gold necklace today. I returned it. I find it difficult to talk to him. He tries to reach out, but I avoid him. He says I am still his daughter. I like writing in this journal. I am able to say things I never can otherwise. My brother is an idiot. So are Chachaji and Teyaji's boys. Spoiled brats, all of them. Just because they are boys, nobody tells them what to do. I hate these double standards. Yeah, this journal does allow me to vent. Good night, journal. Legible entry number 2. The 15th of December 2005. It's over. We are over. Madhav and I, well, we never had anything as such. Whatever it was, it is over. He made me feel so cheap. All in Hindi. Crass Bihari Hindi. He's sick. I should have known. What was I thinking? I actually hung out with him for a year. I let him kiss me. Yuck. My friends were right. He is an idiot gawar. I must have had a phase of insanity. Why else would I have even talked to him? He was not fake, that's why. But, all he wanted was to fuck me. Really, I know it sounds disgusting, but that is what he wanted. And imagine someone saying that to you in Hindi. Being told to fuck him or fuck off. Well, mister, I am fucking off, for good. How dare you talk to me like that? I feel like smashing his head on the basketball court. I told him I needed time. Lots of it. Well, he didn't want to waste time. Because his main purpose was sex. so he could tell his friends he nailed this rich chick. Well, fuck off, says the rich chick. Legible entry number 3. The 4th of September 2006. I said yes to Rohan. Yes, a month ago, when the proposal had come, I had called it the most bizarre idea ever. Rohan Bhaiya and me? Had my mother lost her marbles? He was my Rakhi brother, for God's sake. Not to mention I am just about turning 19 and still in college. But today I said yes. Well, it has been an eventful month. First, the gifts that arrived from London every week. Louis Vuitton handbags, Chanel perfumes, Omega watches. Rohan sent them all, not just for me, but the entire family. My parents felt we may never get this good a match again. My mother said I didn't need to study more as Rohan's family was so rich. I still didn't give in, until last night. Yesterday, Rohan came down from London to Delhi. He came down for just 4 hours, only to see me. None of our parents know he did. He came and picked me up from Stephen's in the Bentley he keeps in India. We went for a long drive. He said he loves to travel, and I would make his best travel and life partner. He said he realized I was young, but I could continue to study in London. He had found out from mom that I wanted to study music. He had brought a list of the top music schools in London with him. Later, he went down on his knees. He took out a blue Tiffany's box. It had a giant 3-carat diamond ring in it. It's still your choice, he said. He put the ring back in the box and handed it to me. Finally, he said, Miss Riya Somani, the most beautiful person I know, inside and outside, since my childhood, will you marry me? So, dear journal, what's a girl to do? That night, I took out the ring from the blue box and put it on. I showed it to mom. She's still on the phone with Rohan's mother, hysterical with happiness. I feel rushed, yes, but this time in a good way. Legible entry number 4, set of several entries from London. The 4th of April 2007. I came to London in the middle of the academic year for music schools. Also, they are so hard to get into. I have to prepare, apply, give tests. It is going to take at least 8 months. Rohan's mother wants me to meet her friends for dinner tonight. Every night there is someone to meet. These guys are social, and how? I told her I should stay back because Rohan was not in town, but she said I have to come. Oh well, yet another party. Boring. The 10th of July 2007. Rohan travels all the time, and for a long time. He has just extended his trip by 2 weeks. I joined him for 2 days, and saw a bit of Istanbul. However, he's in meetings all day and it is no fun to roam around all alone after a white. Besides, Rohan's mom called me back. She was planning a party and the new daughter-in-law had to be there. So pretty, one of her friends had said. Good you brought a girl from India. They listen to you, said another. The 6th of September 2007. He came home drunk. He tried to hit me. Why didn't you take my call? He yelled. I was in music class. I had told him. I had messaged him right after. It's midnight, Rohan. What kind of business meetings happen so late? Shut the fuck up, bitch. What do you know about work? You will not talk to me like this. I turned around and walked away from him. You will not walk away from me like this. You learn to talk and I will stay put. I'm not drunk, he slurred. I turned to him. For your information, I am 20. I was studying in college. I left it to marry you. You left it to live like a queen. Rohan, I said and paused to compose myself. I had a good life in India, too. Somani Infra owned between three brothers versus my business? Girl, what are you comparing? I am not comparing anything. I want you to stop making me out to be this gold digger. He staggered and sat on the oversized grotesque sofa in the drawing room. Sit, he said, patting the seat next to him. I complied. Mom said you didn't talk to her properly when you were leaving home today. Of course I did. Is she lying? I was late for class. She wanted me to go with her to the salon. I said we could go tomorrow. You don't say that to my mother. Ever. I had a class, Rohan. What class? You haven't even got admitted to a college. Yes, that's next year. I have joined prep classes for music. It isn't that easy to get admitted to one of these colleges. I've told you all this before. Rohan went up to the bar. He picked up a bottle. Stop, I said and tried to take the bottle from him. What the fuck? Rohan said. Let go. Now. He pushed me hard. I lost my balance and slipped. He bent over me. Don't touch me, I said and pushed him away. I miss home. I miss college. I miss not being told how to speak to someone else's mother. Good night, journal. It is a good thing you aren't married. The 7th of September 2007. He has apologized. He said work stress was getting to him. I have a long way to go, Riya, I am nothing compared to the big hotel moguls of the world. Why do you have to be a big hotel mogul? I said. But he began to speak of his mother. She suffered a lot in life. My father did not treat her well. I want to be there for her. Hangovers make him senti. 11 January 2008. Wear only Indian clothes. Can you believe this? This is what Rohan's mom said to me today. If it makes her happy, do it. What difference does it make? Rohan had said, as he chose from his 24 pairs of shoes this morning. Why? I said. It isn't like I don't like Indian clothes. The point is, why does she get to tell me what to wear? You can get the best Indian designer clothes. You want me to send the hotel concierge? He will take you to the boutiques. That's not the point, Rohan, I said. Stop fussing. Her friends have certain expectations of her bahu. You nudged in yesterday wearing a short dress. It was a regular dress, almost to my knees. Anyway, what if it was short? What is this? A family dress code? He snapped his fingers at me. Do it. Don't argue. This is what they call marital bliss, I guess. The 18th of March 2008. I made a mistake. A big mistake. I can't be in denial anymore. I made a mistake marrying Rohan. The 11th of June 2008. He slapped me in front of his mother, thrice. She didn't stop him. She kind of liked it. He even pulled my hair. Should I go into the details? I don't think so. What is the point? Drunk husband, mother-in-law finding something to be pissed off about. This time it was about me seemingly ignoring her when she called me 5 times. I had headphones on, and was listening to my music tapes. Mother and son lectured me on how lucky I was, that Rohan was at least 20 times richer than my dad, and if I didn't behave there would be consequences. But now comes the real news. Rohan was sleeping when his plum buzzed at 3 a.m. He didn't wake up. It buzzed again. I feared if he woke live he would fight with me again. I was enjoying the night's silence. So I walked up to the bedside table and picked up his phone to put it on silent. It buzzed again. A WhatsApp message flashed in the notifications. It was from someone called Kristen. Miss body honey. Wish I had you with me tonight. Kristen had sent pictures of her body too. I came back to bed. I didn't feel bad. In fact, I felt light. I had to make a tough decision, and that decision had just been made for me. Legible entry number 5. The 13th of June 2008. My marriage is over. I left London without telling anyone and came home. I landed in Delhi this morning. When I told mom everything, she wanted me to take the next flight back, and she had to call dad. I told her I had decided I was not going back, no matter what dad said. He seemed so nice, dad said at dinner without looking at me. I explained Rohan to them. Rohan liked to conquer. Whether it is a hotel property or his wife, he liked the thrill of chasing more than what he chased. I said no to him. He had to have me. Once he did, he didn't care. I said I skipped some stuff. I didn't say how he used to force himself on me when he was drunk. I didn't say anything about Rohan's mother asking her son to teach me a lesson, or about Kristen. Rohan's mother controls him. And she doesn't like me, is all I said. Women have to learn to adjust, beta, my mother said. Adjust? How does one adjust to violence? I lifted my left hand to show her the swelling. Rohan had pushed me and I had broken my wrist. What will people say? Mom blurted out. Let's find out. Legible entry set number 6. The 17th of February 2009. Sometimes you need a knock on the head to come back to your senses. I received it hard knock today. I don't know what happened to me yesterday. I kissed Madhav on the roof of his Haveli. It made me forget reality. I started dreaming. And how the dream crashed. Just when those silly feelings of, this seems so right, started to take root, Rani Sahiha brought me back to my senses. The signs were already there. How could I forget those? Disapproving glances from her in the living room? How idiotic of me to open up to her. Just because she was Madhav's mom, I thought she would also accept my past like Madhav did. She fed me litti chokha. It didn't mean she liked me. Are you the girl he was involved with in college? She asked me in the school staff room today, when Madhav went to take his class. I didn't know what to say. I had no idea what Madhav had told her about me. We were good friends, yes, I said. And now? She said. Friends only. Nothing else, auntie, I said, a stammer in my voice. I know my son. He will get involved with you again. Auntie, we do like each other but. Stay out of his life, she said shortly. Auntie, but. She stared at me. You are divorced. You must be desperate for another man. My son is handsome and a prince here. Of course, I can sense your plans. Plans? It is so easy for your type. One man didn't work out, so get another. If it were not Madhav's mother, I would have snapped back. I controlled myself. I don't want anyone, I said. Then leave him. He is too weak for you. I expect nothing, I said. She handed me a tissue when she saw my tears. He does. Rani Sahiba folded her hands. He is all I have. If you stay here, he will never move on. You may be a big shot in Delhi. However, the Prince of Dumraon won't be with a Marwari divorcee. Respect in society is also worth something, she said. I wasn't respectable, I guess. What do you want me to do? Stop meeting him? That won't be enough. He won't stop chasing you. You have done Mayajal on him. Before I could answer, Madhav arrived. He pulled me by my hand to take me to the classroom. Mayajal, an illusory trap. Nice one, Rani Sahiba. The 5th of March 2009. I'm in Delhi. Dad passed away last night. I saw him in the ICU yesterday afternoon. He could barely talk. He said I had to meet Gupta uncle, his lawyer. I went to Gupta uncle's office. He told me my father had stashed away some money for me in a secret account. Don't tell your brothers or anyone at home. They may sue and the matter will be stuck in the courts for years, Gupta uncle said. I signed the papers. I remained silent during the funeral. I was in two minds. I knew why Dad was giving me the money. It was hush money, money for me to go away from his mind, from his conscience, from his guilt. But I told myself to be practical. I will need the money where I am going. Also, maybe I was ready to forget and move on. Not forgive, but forget. The 14th of April 2009. I leave in 3 days. No more drama. No more dealing with another boy's mother. I don't want anyone's pity either. I am a divorcee. If that makes me tainted, so be it. I am not upset with Rani Sahiba. I came to Patna to be alone. Madhav happened. Yes, he's nice. I know he loves me, and is falling for me more and more every day. I like him, too. Is that why I said yes to a job in Patna? Did I do so in the hope of meeting him again? Perhaps. To be loved and to love is nice. However, right now, more than love, I want peace. Madhav won't get it. He won't let go if I explain all this to him. I have been through it. He hasn't. He won't stop pursuing me. The simplest way out is if he thinks I am no longer an option. I had a minor infection in Dumarav. So far, I have pretended it hasn't healed. Hence, when I leave, it will be more believable. Sure, he will be upset. However, he will get over it eventually and marry a princess sooner or later, who will come to him without a past, without deep dark secrets. My fingers shake as I write this. I must stay strong. I have to type my parting note. I am faking my illness. Maybe I can at least be honest in my last letter and tell him how I feel about him. He's coming home for the final rehearsal, it will be our last night together. Is it wrong if I make him stay over? 35. Chanakya Hotel, Patna. Madhav continued to stare at the last page long after he had read it, fists clenched. What? He burst out and went silent. He turned his gaze from the journal to me. What is this, Chetan sir? He said. Your friend's journals, remember? I said. He slammed the notebook shut and took rapid shallow breaths. He buried his face in his hands, ran fingers through his thick, uncombed hair. He remained still until I touched his shoulder. Are you all right? I said. He looked at me in a dazed way. His face had turned an intense shade of red. She's alive, he mumbled. That is what it seems like, I said. She's alive, he said again. His body began to shake. Uncontrollably. So you see why I called you. You said she's dead. You wanted to throw these journals away. How could she lie? Such a big lie. The bitch. He fought back tears. Madhav, you said you loved her. What kind of language is this? I. He said and stopped, unable to finish the sentence, the thought. You are in shock. She always does this. She runs away. The only way she deals with issues is by running away. He broke down then, tears in his stubble. It took me years to get over her. I have still not healed, how could she? He muttered to himself. At least you found out, I said. She didn't want me to. She wanted to dump me again. She wanted to protect herself. And you? Me? How did this protect me? She didn't want to be a burden in your life. Riya could never be a burden in my life. She was my life. Madhav matter-of-factly. I handed him a tissue. He crushed it in his hand instead of wiping his eyes. Aren't you happy she's alive? I should be, but all I feel is anger right now. I can understand. 2 years. Not a single day when I didn't think of her. What are you going to do, Madhav? I said. He ignored my question. When she left, I almost needed to be treated for depression, he said, mostly to himself. You went through a lot. Chetan sir, does what she did seem fair to you? I guess not. But life is complicated sometimes. She seemed to have her reasons. My mother? How is it even an issue? In fact, even my mother says Riya made RNE look more alive than anyone else. Riya had a bad experience. Once bitten and all that. I'm not Rohan. Like always, I had become over-involved in a situation. I needed to get home. It was Madhav Jha who had to plan what to do next. He seemed lost in thought. I stood up to pack my bags. Can I stay for some more time? He said. Sure, I said, shrugging my shoulders. He went to a corner of the room to make a phone call. I zipped up my suitcase. He returned after a few minutes. I called her home in Delhi. Her mother says she has not heard from her in years, Madhav said. She really has disappeared from everywhere, I said. I lifted my bag from the bed and placed it on the ground. I pulled out the rod of my trolley. I'm sorry. This is the only flight to Mumbai today. Thank you for whatever you did. I did nothing. Can I accompany you to the airport? We sat in the car in silence. He spoke after passing 2 traffic signals. I'll find her, Madhav said in a calm but decisive voice. I looked at him. Are you serious? Yes. Where could she be? I have a hunch. She always used to mention her dream. To be a singer in a small bar in New York. So, if she has cut herself off from the entire world, wouldn't she finally want to pursue her dream? How can you be sure? Where in New York? Or maybe she found another city? Or maybe she is doing something else? I said. So you think I shouldn't look? I'm just being realistic. Sorry, I didn't mean to discourage you. We remained silent for the rest of the drive. We reached the Lok Nayak Jayaprakash airport. He helped me load my bag on the trolley. I told myself to withdraw from this situation. I couldn't. Keep in touch, I said, as the security guard at the entrance checked my photo ID and ticket. I will, sir. You really are going to look for her? Yes, sir. Even though you may never find her and end up in more pain? He nodded. I can't quit, sir. It's not in my genes to do so. 36. After Chetan Bhagat left, I remained in Patna for a while. I met as many people as I could from Riya's past. First, I went to her old office. She resigned but did not tell us her plans, Mohini, her ex-colleague at Nestle, told me. Did she seem sick? Not really, Mohini said. I visited East India Travels, the agency Nestlé's staff used. You remember Riya Somani? She worked at Nestlé's Patna office 2 years ago, I said. Pretty girl? Said Ajay, the young agent at the travel agency. Extremely pretty, I corrected him. Madam did use this agency. Her father had become quite sick. Round trip to Delhi, right? Ajay said. Yes, anything after that? I said. Ajay pounded his keyboard. He shook his head a couple of times. Anything? Trying, Ajay said and spoke after a minute. I have something. She took another flight to Delhi. One way. On the 17th of April 2009. I checked the screen. She had flown out the same day as the Bill Gates talk. I went to the car hire company. However, they didn't maintain old records, so they had no idea. I went to Kotak Mahindra Bank, where Riya had her salary credited. I met Roshan Joshi, the branch manager. Client information is confidential, he said. She disappeared. I'm trying to find her. Is she missing? Do you have a police report? We could help then. She went on her own. Sir, how can I reveal someone's bank account information? I hated doing this, but I called MLA Ojha from the branch manager's office. Ojha loved to do favors, so he could ask for one in return later. He asked the Patna city MLA to give Roshan a call. 5 minutes later, I had Riya's accounts. Sorry, I didn't know you knew our MLA, sir. Roshan said. I scanned her statements. On the 14th of April, Riya had withdrawn the entire balance of 3.5 lakhs. The transaction had FX written next to it. What is FX? I said. Roshan looked at the account statement. It's foreign exchange conversion. She has withdrawn the funds in another currency. Which currency? US dollars. To travel to the US? I said. The lamp of hope flickered in me. We don't know. Indians often take US dollars to whichever country they are visiting and change it there. She has traveled abroad. Right? That's likely. I left the bank and called Ajay at East India Travels. Ajay, Madhav Jha here. I need to book a flight to Delhi, please. Ah, lucky girl, Samantha said. Is she? I said. Married at 19. Divorced at 20. Samantha and I sat in the American diner at the India Habitat Center in Delhi. She swirled the straw in her orange juice as I told her Riya's story. That is indeed tragic, she said. However, she is lucky to have you love her so much. I smiled. Madhav, most girls would kill for a lover like you. I would. Samantha said. Thanks, I said. She took a deep breath. The waiter came without food, a chicken burger and a large order of French fries. Anyway, so what can I do for you? Samantha said, a fry in one hand. I have to find her. Nobody seems to know where she is. That's not a great place to start. Any clues? I have a hunch. Like an intuition? Well, a guess. A decent calculated guess. She could be in New York. Oh, really? That's my city. I'm not sure. I have to first confirm it is the US. How? The US consulate. I need to find out if they issued a visa to Riya Somani. Do you have contacts there, through your American circle in Delhi? I do. But that sort of stuff is confidential. I don't need details. I just need to know if they issued a visa to her and when. It's difficult. That's why I've come to you. She finished every single fry as she considered my request. She took out her phone and flipped through the contacts list. There's Angela at the US consulate. We hang out sometimes. I can't promise anything. That's fine. Whatever is possible. The best rural school in Bihar. That is super news, Madhav. You have any documents to show that the CM said that? Michael Young, the CEO of Gates Foundation India, said. I sat in his sunny office. It had a view of the trees on Lodhi Road. Over the last 2 years, I had interacted with Michael on several occasions, and received delegations on his behalf to my school. I have local newspaper articles. I can send you scanned copies, one said. That would be wonderful. Little May will look good to my bosses in New York, Michael said and winked at me. Americans can make you feel you are their best friend in the whole world. I need a favor, Michael, I said. Sure. I need to be in New York for a while. Can the foundation give me a job, an internship, anything for a few months? Michael raised his eyebrows. Really? Yes. I will go anyway. However, it will help if I have a base there and some income to survive. Bihar to New York. Is everything okay? You seem so passionate about your school. I am. I need to look for someone in New York. That's all. Of course, an internship would be a great experience. Michael tugged at his lower lip. Well, I will put you in touch with people in the US, Michael said, and put in a word, too. Thanks, Michael, I said and shook his hand. No problem. Don't forget to send me the scanned articles, he said. The things you make me do, Samantha said. She passed me a sheet of paper. It was early in the morning in Lodi Gardens, next to her office. Brisk morning walkers strode past us. I looked at the sheet. It was a copy of a US visa. She applied, and the consulate granted her a visa on the 5th of April. Thanks, Samantha. My friend could get into a lot of trouble for this. I owe you, I said. She looked at me with her deep grey eyes. No, you don't. Hope this is helpful. It tells me my hunch could be right. But it doesn't say which city in the US. Or if she went at all. New York. She always wanted to go there. Ah, no wonder Michael said you have applied for an internship there. ACT 3. New York. 37. Name? The officer at the immigration counter said. Madhav Jha, I said, wondering why he didn't just read it on my passport. Mr. Jha, what is the purpose of your visit to the United States? He flipped the pages of my passport, blank except for my new US visa. To find the love of my life, I wanted to say. I'm interning with the Gates Foundation in New York. Documentation, please. I took out a plastic folder from my rucksack. It had my internship offer letter, confirming my stipend of $3,000 a month. I also had certification from Michael's office, the cash advance the foundation had given me, and my visa documents. The immigration officer examined my file. Where will you be staying in New York, sir? With friends. On the Upper East Side, 83rd Street and 3rd Avenue. The officer fumbled with my passport for a few seconds. He picked up a stamp. The bam sounded like a gunshot, to indicate that my race to find Riya had begun. I took a yellow taxi from JFK Airport towards Manhattan, the main island that forms the city of New York. It was my first trip outside India, and the first thing I noticed was the color of the sky. It was a crisp, crystal clear blue. One never sees such a sky in India. I can understand India is dusty, but why is our sky less blue? Or is it the dust in the air that prevents us from seeing it? The second thing that hit me was the silence. The taxi sped on a road filled with traffic. However, nobody honked, not even at signals. The silence almost made my ears hurt. Initially, I only saw row houses and brick-colored warehouses, nothing quite as impressive as I had imagined. However, 30 minutes from the airport, the taxi reached the Brooklyn Bridge, over the Hudson River. One had to cross this bridge to reach Manhattan. The bridge resembled the Howrah Bridge of Kolkata I had seen on TV, only bigger and cleaner. On the other side, 1,000 skyscrapers loomed. Literally one tall building after another dotted the entire city. We crossed the bridge and entered Manhattan. "Welcome to the Big Apple," said the taxi driver in an American accent. "Are you from here?" I said. "Now, yes. Originally from Amritsar," he said. I looked at the taxi driver's name, Balwinder Singh. Okay, not quite as exotic as I had imagined. In Manhattan, I saw people, busy people. Early morning joggers, people going to office in suits, children on their way to school. The city seemed like a maze, with crisscrossing streets and avenues. If one were to get lost here, it would take years to be found again. "It's all arranged in one grid," the driver said. "You going to Upper East, yeah?" "Yes, please," I said and handed him the address. "Madhav Jha." "You made it," Shailesh squealed in excitement as he opened the door. I struggled to catch my breath. I had climbed 3 floors with a backpack and a heavy suitcase. "These are pre-war buildings," Shailesh said. He dragged my suitcase into the apartment. "From before the Second World War. You get higher ceilings and more character. However, the lift breaks down every week." He took me to the guest room of his 3-bedroom apartment, which looked high-end and was done up in an ethnic Indian style with brass Ganeshas and Madhubani paintings of Krishna. Shailesh had done an MBA from Harvard after Stephens. He had joined Goldman Sachs, a top Wall Street investment bank. He shared the apartment with his girlfriend, Jyoti, whom he had met at Harvard. Jyoti worked at Morgan Stanley, another Wall Street investment bank. The size of the apartment told me the banks paid them well. Dark circles under Shailesh's eyes told me they also made him work hard. M&A, that's mergers and acquisitions, Shailesh said, telling me about his work. We sat in his living room. I had reached early, at 6:30 in the morning. Shailesh was ready for work, wearing a grey suit and a dark blue silk tie. He ate breakfast cereal with milk and slipped on his leather loafers. "Sorry, I'm rushing," Shailesh said. "Jyoti and I catch the 7 a.m. subway to work. Catch up in the evening, okay?" "No problem," I said. "I need to rest anyway. I'm so tired." "Try not to sleep. It will help you adjust to the jet lag," Shailesh said. The 10-hour difference in time zones meant my body wanted to sleep while New York City had just woken up. "Jyoti!" Shailesh shouted. Coming, a female voice in a thick American accent came from one of the bedrooms. "Shailesh, if you can put me in touch with a real estate broker." I started to say. He interrupted me. "Are you crazy? You're here for a short while. It's an internship, right? 3 months. I can't stay with you that long." "Why not? You relax here. I have to go to London tomorrow, but we are definitely catching up tonight. Shailesh finished his breakfast and took the plates to the kitchen sink. You've changed so much, Shailesh. We sat in shorts doing a da all day in Stephens. Now, suits, hi-fi banker life, New York City, I said. He laughed. Times change, lives change. You have to move on, pal. I thought about Shailesh's statement. I nodded, even though in half agreement. Jyoti, a thin, 5 feet 6 inches tall girl, appeared. She wore a formal black skirt and shirt with a jacket. Hi, Madhav. Have heard so much about you, Jyoti said and extended her hand. She sounded like Samantha, except she had brown skin and black eyes. Me too. Sorry to bother you until I find an apartment. Stay as long as you want. Work keeps us so busy. At least someone can use the place, Jyoti said and turned to Shailesh. You ready to go, honey? Shailesh nodded. Elle unpacked my clothes in the guest room while making plans for the next couple of days. The internship did not start until the day after. I wondered if any live music bars would be open now. I lay down for 5 minutes and woke up 5 hours later. Disoriented. Jet lag had made me lose track of time and space. I needed a local SIM card. I checked the dollars in my wallet, picked up the house keys and left. Manhattan has a grid-like structure. Numbered streets run north to south. The wider avenues run from east to west. Shailesh's home on 3rd Avenue and 83rd Street was close to Central Park, which had its eastern side on 5th Avenue. The park, a landmark of the city, is 3.5 square kilometers in area and runs all the way from 60th Street in the south to 120th Street up north, and 5th Avenue on the east to 9th Avenue on the west. The park helped me orient myself. Its southern tip had shops where I could buy a SIM card. I walked west from 3rd to 5th Avenue, and then down south 23 blocks from 83rd Street to 60th Street. In 20 minutes, I reached the southeast corner of the park. I found a row of shops, including a store called T-Mobile. The T-Mobile salesperson offered me a SIM card with a 3G data plan. If you take a 2-year contract, Elle can also give you a free iPhone. I'm not here that long, I said. I agreed to rent a touchscreen phone along with a voice and data plan. It'll take 20 minutes to activate, the salesperson said. I left the shop and walked back north towards Central Park. I had not eaten anything for hours. I scanned the various cafes and delis, each displaying their lunch specials. Most dishes cost close to $10 each. A van parked outside Central Park sold bagels, a donut-shaped bread stuffed with cream cheese or other fillings. It cost only $3, including a cold drink. I got a bagel with cream cheese, tomatoes and onions. A giant-sized Coke came along with it. I sat on an empty bench outside Central Park and watched tourists walk past. New York City looked beautiful and clean. The first day you spend out of India in a developed country takes a while to sink in. The swanky buildings, the smooth roads, the gleaming shops and the lack of noise, nobody blares horns for some reason, make you feel like you have entered a fairy tale where nothing can ever go wrong. I ate my lunch on the park bench. A 3G sign on the corner of my phone screen indicated I had network. I typed in my first Google search, live music venues in New York City. The internet worked fine. The search results weren't fine. Literally thousands of places popped up. The first link directed me to the website of Time Out magazine. That site itself had a top 100 list of the best live music venues in the city. In Patna, you would be lucky to find one place that played live music. In Dumraon, the only way you could hear live music at a bar is if you yourself sang. In New York City, however, there is an endless number of places. I sat on the Central Park bench and examined the tall buildings around me. I felt small and insignificant. It's a live music venue in one city, how difficult can it be? Is what I had told myself before coming here. Now it didn't seem easy at all. I went to Google Maps. It showed my current location as 59th Street and 6th Avenue. It also showed me to be a 3-kilometer walk away from Shailesh's house. A cold breeze penetrated my Bihar strength sweater. I crossed my arms and held them close to my chest. You are so stupid, Madhav, I said to myself as I walked north on 5th Avenue, along the edge of the park. On a whim, I had packed my bags and come to this cold city. A gust of wind left my face numb. I can't do this, I said. I took deep breaths. I reminded myself of old basketball matches, which I had won with sheer willpower. One street, one avenue, one bar at a time, Madhav. 38. You bagged a Gates Foundation grant. Incredible, Jyoti said. We ate chapatis and chana masala for dinner at Shailesh's house on my first night in New York. My school did. They liked the good work the team had done, I said. It's him, Shailesh said. He cracked it. Bill Gates himself saw the school and proposed the grant. Jyoti said, can this internship lead to a full-time job in New York? I don't want a job, I said. You are doing it for the experience? Shailesh said. It's for. Well, there is another reason. I said and turned silent. I looked at Jyoti. Shailesh understood my hesitation. You want to tell me later? He said. Buddy secrets, is it? Jyoti smiled. I smiled back. Jyoti stood up to go to the kitchen. Whatever you tell me, I will end up telling her, Shailesh said and looked at her. She blew him a kiss. All right then. Sit, Jyoti, I said. Jyoti sat down again, very attentive. I am here to look for someone, I said. Look for? Jyoti said. You don't have his contact? Her. No, I don't. I'm not even sure she's here. Ah, her. It's about a girl. Isn't it always? Jyoti said. Who? Shailesh said. Riya, I said. Riya? Who? Riya Somani? Shailesh said. Well, yes, I said. Shailesh let out a whistle. What the fuck? Shailesh said. Really? You're in New York looking for Riya Somani? He started to laugh. Who is Riya Somani? Clearly she has created some excitement here, Jyoti said. His. Well, how do I say it? Well, kind of your ex-girlfriend, right? Half girlfriend, ex-half girlfriend, I said. That was ages ago, Shailesh said, sounding confused. Didn't she get married to her cousin in London or something? She dropped out, right? It wasn't her cousin. It was Rohan, a family friend and Rakhi brother. Not a cousin. I hate it when college rumors get blown out of proportion. Sorry, I don't remember the details. She messed with you, man, and flew away to London with her husband, Shailesh said. I smiled. There's more to that story. A lot more. Want to hear it? I said. Jyoti and Shailesh nodded. They listened with rapt attention. I told them everything. I ended my story at 10 in the night. Jyoti turned to Shailesh. I had no idea Indian men could be so romantic, she said. What do you mean? Shailesh said, looking wounded. You don't walk me to my office from the subway stop, Jyoti said. And here are people coming halfway across the world to find lost love. Sworn Jyoti. Everything is not an excuse to nag, Shailesh said and turned to me. But, boss, you are mind-blowing. Still chasing that chick after, what, 7 years? That's so romantic, Jyoti said dreamily. It's also stupid, Shailesh said. Shailesh. Jyoti said. I'm just being protective of my friend. He's right, I said, interrupting Shailesh. I am being stupid. But I can't help it, she means everything to me. Everything? You thought she was dead. You survived, right? Shailesh said. Survived, yes, lived, no. Jyoti sighed. Shailesh gave up. He got us a bottle of red wine and 3 glasses. You guys have to wake up early, I said as I took a sip. Feel free to go to bed. No worries, Shailesh said. What is your plan? I will step out now. Now? Jyoti said, gulping down her wine. I will start with live music venues on the Upper East Side. This late? Jyoti said. Nothing starts before 10 anyway, I said. I finished my glass and stood up. It's New York City. Every block has bars with live music. Shailesh said. I'll have to visit every block, I guess, I said. You are mad, Shailesh said. Depends on how you look at it, I said. Meaning? You wake up at 6 and put on a suit. You reach office at 7:30 in the morning and work 13 hours a day. Some may find that pretty mad. I get rewarded for it, bro. In dollars. Riya is my ultimate reward, I said. Shailesh had no answer. You need a warmer jacket, wait, Jyoti said. She rummaged in a cupboard and came back with a leather jacket with a down filling. Thanks, I said. I walked out of the apartment and shut the door behind me. Inside, I could hear Shailesh say, you think he needs a psychiatrist? Google Maps doesn't judge lunatic lovers. It simply gave me results when I looked for live music bars near me. The first suggestion was Brandy's Piano Bar on 84th Street, between 2nd and 3rd Avenue, a mere 5-minute walk away. I reached Brandy's, a tiny bar one would miss if one wasn't looking for it. A 2-drink minimum policy applied to all customers. I didn't want to have drinks. I just wanted to meet the management and find out the list of singles. Sir, you need to order 2 drinks, the waitress told me, chewing gum. I realized I would need a better way to do this. For now, I found the cheapest drink on the menu. 2 Budweiser beers, please. A makeshift stage had a piano on it. I had entered during a break. 10 minutes later, a singer called Matt came and took his seat. Hi guys, lovely to see you all again, let's start with Aerosmith. Matt said. The crowd broke into cheers. I guessed Aerosmith was a popular hand. Matt sang in a slow, clear voice. My English practice meant I could catch a few words. I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. Watch you smile while you are sleeping. Customers swung their heads from side to side. Matt sang and played the piano at the same time. Don't want to close my eyes, I don't want to fall asleep. 'Cause I'd miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing. I didn't want to fall asleep either. I wanted to stay up all night and look for Riya in as many bars as I could. I opened my Google Maps app again. The streets of Manhattan seemed manageable on the phone screen. In reality, this was a mega city of millions. She may not even be in New York, a soft voice in my head told me. It was the only sensible voice I had left. As always, I ignored it. I focused on the music. I felt the pain of the singer who couldn't bear to sleep as he would mean missing moments with his lover. I went up to the cashier and asked for the manager. When he arrived, I posed my standard list of questions. I've come from India looking for a lost friend. All I know is she's probably a singer at a bar in New York. Can you tell me who your singers are? Too many, my friend. The schedule is on the notice board. You know her name? The manager said. Her real name is Riya. No such name, I'm pretty sure. She may have changed it for the stage, I said. That's a tough search then, my friend. She's tall, slim and pretty. Long hair, well, at least when I saw her last. This is a city of tall, slim and pretty people. Indian, she's an Indian singer in a New York bar. She sings Bollywood? I would check the Indian restaurants. Unlikely. She liked Western music. Do you remember seeing any Indian singer at your bar? The manager thought for a few seconds. He shook his head. Sorry, mate. The schedule is there. See if something rings a bell. I walked to the notice board. I saw the timetable for various gigs all month. The singers' descriptions did not suggest anyone like Riya. The waitress gave me the bill for 2 beers. She added a 20% tip to it. 20%? It's New York, she said, glaring. I later learned that tipping wasn't optional in New York. I left Brandy's and visited a couple of other bars in the neighborhood. There was Marty O'Brien's on 87th Street in 2nd Avenue. It had more rock bands than singers. Uptown Restaurant and Lounge on 88th Street had its schedule placed outside. I could only find 2 female singers. Both were American, the doorman told me. The posh Carlyle Hotel, all the way down on 76th Street, had a bar called Bemelman's. Drinks cost $15 each, excluding the tip. I sat on a small couch in the corner of the bar and stayed away from the waiter to avoid placing an order. The singer, a beautiful, 6-foot-tall blonde American woman, sang a love song. I have loved you for 1,000 years, I will love you for 1,000 more. A waiter came up to me to take my order. I told him I had to leave for some urgent work. I stood up. By the way, do you have other female singers here? I said. A couple of them. They alternate. Anybody who looks Indian? I couldn't tell, sir, the waiter said. Americans don't like to take a shot at answering questions they don't know, unlike Indians, who pretty much know everything about everything. Tall, really pretty girl who looks Indian? No, sir. Only 2 black singers, and 2 Caucasian ones. Even at midnight, on a weekday, the place was packed. Everyone around me seemed incredibly happy. They clinked glasses and laughed at jokes. They probably didn't know of Bihar's existence. Neither would they know how it felt to love someone for 1,000 years, as the singer crooned. I did. 39. The Gates Foundation's head office in the United States is in Seattle. It is where Microsoft is based and where Bill Gates lives. Apart from that, they have an East Coast office in Washington. In New York, they often work with their partners on various projects. Since I had insisted on New York, Michael had given me a place on a foundation project with the United Nations. The UN World Headquarters is located in Midtown New York. On my first day to work, I walked to the 86th Street station on Lexington Avenue. I took train number 4 and got down at Grand Central Station on 42nd Street, walking half a mile to the massive United Nations Plaza complex. After a 3-layered security process, I reached the office of the UNFPA, or the United Nations Population Fund. Mr. Jha, welcome. Come in. A 40-year-old black man twice my width met me in the reception area. I entered an office filled with books and reports. Olara Lokeras from Uganda. Worked with the Population Fund for 10 years. I will be your mentor. The Gates Foundation had granted $57 million to the UNFPA to educate youth on preventing HIV/AIDS in African countries. I had to make a report on the project's progress. Of course, I had no experience either in Africa or in making a report. I run a school in Bihar, India. I'm sorry, but this Africa AIDS/HIV research is all new to me. Olara smiled. His white teeth glistened in his large face. Don't worry. Making reports is much easier than running an actual school, he said. Olara spent the rest of the afternoon explaining the various databases maintained in the project to me. Ghana, Uganda, Tanzania and Botswana are the 4 main countries of focus, he said. He briefed me on other logistical and administrative issues related to my internship. He also told me that work hours would be from 9 to 5, with a lunch break in between. First time in New York? Olara said. Yes. Good, I will take you out for a drink after work. Sure, I said. Any preferences? Any place with live music, I said. 1 month later. Dude, no. Please. I can't take this, Shailesh said. He pushed the envelope back towards me. I had placed $1,000 inside. It's been a month, Shailesh. I feel obligated, I said. Would I pay you rent if I came to Dumarav? He said. No, but you are paying rent here. So let me contribute. Don't be stupid. You are hardly here. You come home at 3 every night. You leave at 8. We barely feel your presence. Shailesh was right. We had not met the entire week, even though we lived in the same house. How's work? He said. What exactly is your project? Tracking the progress of AIDS awareness initiatives in Botswana. Sounds noble. I don't know about noble. All I know is I only have 2 months left and there's still no sign of Riya. Shailesh tilted his box of cereal. The box label said, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Little sugar-coated squares fell into his milk. You are chasing an illusion, he said. Maybe. How many bars have you visited in the last month? I flipped through my notebook where I kept track of all my visits. 100 plus. Close to 200, I said. Apart from actual visits, I had also called up 500 other music venues. Nobody had heard of a singer called Riya. Shailesh gasped. He covered his mouth with his hand to prevent food from spilling out. He waited a few seconds to chew the contents in his mouth before he spoke again. Madhav, I love you as a friend, so I am saying it. You have to stop this. She is gone. Wish her happiness. Move on. I will. But only after I feel that I've tried my best. 2 more months. I would say end it now. And why go back in 2 months? Is there a chance of a full-time assignment with the UN? I don't know. I've never really showed an interest. Stop living in the past. Make a new life. Look for work here and meet other people. I smiled and nodded, he made sense. I was not interested in sense. He finished his breakfast, slipping on his shoes. He said, "Come out with us sometime. Jyoti has many lovely single friends." "Sure. Let me know if you're going to a live music venue." Shailesh looked at me and laughed. "Mad you are," he said. "Anyway, I better leave or I'll miss my train." I had a 1-hour lunch break at the inn. Most days I ate a sandwich from the subway or Starbucks outside. Since Shailesh had refused to take rent, I had enough money to even have a cappuccino later. I had found a fixed corner seat at Starbucks from which to make my calls. "Hi, is this the West Village Talent House?" I said. "Yes, it is," an older lady with a heavy American accent said. "Can I speak to the manager?" "May I ask what this is about?" "I'm looking for a singer. We have lots of them." "Did you check our website?" "Yes, I did. However, I am looking for someone specific not listed there." "Didn't get you, honey." "Well, it's a girl, Indian origin. She is in her early 20s. Her real name is Riya. I don't think she uses that on stage. I can't help you with such limited information." "Did you see her perform somewhere?" "Well, no. Actually, she is an old friend. I am trying to locate her." "Sorry, getting another call, bye." She hung up. I had another sip from my venti-sized cup, which held over half a liter of coffee. Americans are into size, whether it is their cars, bodies, or food. I had 10 minutes of lunch break left. I called a few more bars and one more talent agency. Finally, I made a route plan to visit 6 bars in the evening around the Tribeca area. 40. "No Indian singer here." "I'm sorry," she said. I had come to Tribeca Nation, a small bar with 30 seats and a tiny stage for solo vocalists. The singer had just finished her performance. I had gone up to her and told her I loved her voice. I asked her if she would have a few minutes to sit with me. She looked at me suspiciously. "I just have some questions." "Nothing else," I had told her. She ordered a Jack Daniel's whiskey and Diet Coke, and urged me to try the same. Erica was 22 years old. She was from Rhode Island, a state north of New York. She wanted to act in a Broadway play, and tried her luck at auditions during the day. At night, she earned a living through singing gigs. "I finished high school and came here." I looked at her. "No college, sorry." She grinned. Over the past few weeks, I had learned a thing or two about Americans. If they wanted something, they went for it. They didn't think about the risks so much. Which Indian parent would allow a girl to sing in bars at night after class 12, I wondered. "I really need to find this girl," I said, now 2 whiskeys down and more talkative. "La. Makes us do crazy things," she said. "Well, I'm going a little crazy. La." She laughed. "At least it keeps us singers in business." I gave her Riya's description. "You spoke to agents?" "As many as I could. No luck yet. If she has a stage name, it can get quite difficult." "Well, she is Indian. I am hoping someone will remember her. I have 2 months left. I'll let you know in case I spot someone." "That would be helpful. I don't have your number." We shared contacts. She recommended other bars. "Here," she passed me a tissue she had scribbled names on. "These are places that give new singers a chance." "Thanks," I said. "She's a lucky girl," Erica said. "It's me who needs some luck now," I said. 1.5 months later. "See you at Pylos then." At 7th Street and 1st Avenue. 8 o'clock. Shailesh ended the call. Pylos is a high-end Greek restaurant located in the East Village. Earthen terracotta pots with spotlights dangled from the ceiling. In Bihar, nobody would think that the humble matki could play. Chandelier. Shailesh and Jyoti had invited me out to dinner. Jyoti had brought her friend Priya along, without warning me. Priya is a journalist with Al Jazeera in New York. We went to high school together, Jyoti said. Priya looked like she was in her early 20s. Fashionable glasses, slim figure, attractive. She wore a navy blue top with a white pencil skirt and a long silver chain that dangled down till her navel, which was visible when she stretched. This is Madhav. He's here on a United Nations project, Shailesh said. Cue for Priya and me to shake hands and smile. I told her about my internship and what I did back home in India. You run a rural Indian school? That is so cool, she said. Thanks, I said. We ordered a bottle of Greek wine. We also asked for moussaka, which is sautéed eggplant and tomato layered with caramelized onions, herbs and a cheese sauce. A mountain-shaped dish, piled with vegetables, arrived on our table. I ate a spoonful. This is like chokha, I said. Chokha? Priya said. It's a popular dish in Bihar. Which part of India are you from? I'm from Minnesota, she said. I realized that NRLs born in the US did not like being referred to as Indians. Oh, I said. Anyway, this is similar to a local dish we have. My parents are from Andhra Pradesh, she said. Shailesh refilled my glass of wine. Jyoti ordered more food. We had a trio of Greek dips, consisting of tzatziki, a thick yogurt dip. Taramosalata, a dip made of fish eggs. And meletsanosalata, made with char-grilled eggplants and extra virgin Greek olive oil. It came with pita bread. I'm sorry, but this bread is also like our chapati, Elle said. Yes, indeed. These are all flatbreads. From Greece and Turkey to the Middle East and all the way down to South Asia, flatbreads are popular, Priya said. Is she Wikipedia? Shailesh asked Jyoti and we all laughed. She is. Just be happy she's not discussing the Greek economic crisis because you came to a Greek place, Jyoti said. Oh no, please. I read enough economic reports in the bank. Shailesh said. Hey, I'm a nerd and a proud one. Cheers. Priya raised her glass. All of us lifted ours. Don't worry, you and boy, I won't bore you with my little nuggets of wisdom anymore, Priya said. She clinked her glass against mine. The girls decided to make a trip to the ladies' room together. Why do they go together for a solo activity? Like her? Shailesh said, after the girls had left. Huh? Priya. She's giving you the eye, dude. Isn't she hot? What? I said. You play your cards right and she can be yours. I shook my head. I'm not kidding, Shailesh said. Not interested. I'm not asking you to marry her. Take her out, have fun. Loosen up. Very funny, I hardly have any time left in New York, only 2 more weeks. All the more reason, don't go back without some romance. Or a score, he winked at me. I have a final report to finish, I haven't even started to pack. Plus, so many bars to go to. You won't give up on this Riya nonsense? I kept quiet and finished my 3rd glass of wine. You've visited or called over 1,000 places, Shailesh said, in 2 weeks it all ends anyway. I am tired, too. Just giving it my best shot. Idiot you are, Shailesh said. We heard giggles as the girls returned. My friend here thinks you are a little serious. But hot in a brooding sort of way, Jyoti announced. Priya smacked Jyoti's arm. Shut up. You can't repeat a private conversation, said Priya, blushing as she sat down again. Shailesh kicked my leg. Act, buddy, he seemed to say. The waiter brought us another bottle of wine. I poured my fourth glass. For dessert, I would recommend a drained Greek yogurt served with fresh cherries, thyme-scented Greek honey and walnuts, the waiter said. The girl swooned over the description and ordered 2 servings. Where are we going next? Priya said. Well, we are the boring banker couple. We have early morning calls, Shailesh said. So we will head home. Why don't Madhav and you check out other places in the neighborhood? Sure, I don't mind. I could show Madhav the East Village area around Pylos. I used to live here earlier. Actually, I have other places to go to, I said. I did have 5 places on my list tonight. Madhav, the lady wants to go out, Shailesh said. He kicked me again under the table. Stop kicking me, I said. The wine had made me more confident. Jyoti looked startled by the sudden rise in my voice. I need to go. Thanks for dinner. What is my share? I stood up. My head felt heavy. I had drunk too much. Sit down, Madhav. We are trying to help you, Shailesh said. What am I? A fucking patient who needs help? My wine glass slipped from my hand and fell on the floor. There was shattered glass all over the floor. You do need help, Madhav. You are losing the plot, Shailesh said. Customers at other tables were looking at us. A waiter came to remove the broken glass. We should go. Shailesh, did you pay the hill? Jyoti said. Did I say something wrong? Priya said. No, Jyoti said to Priya. So what just happened? Priya said. The boys go back a long way. They have their way of talking. Don't worry about it. Shailesh took hold of my upper arm. He dragged me out of the restaurant. The cold December breeze hit us all. You are drunk, Shailesh said in a slow, deliberately calm voice. Let's take a cab home. We will drop Priya on the way. I am not drunk, I said, even though I found it hard to keep my balance on the icy street. You drank wine like water, Shailesh said. A yellow cab stopped next to us. The girls got in. Shailesh shoved me into the front seat. He sat behind with the girls. 83rd and 3rd please, with a stop at 37th first, Jyoti said. I opened the front door of the car. I have to visit 5 bars, I said and stepped out. Priya looked at Jyoti, confused. You are drunk. Come back in so we can leave. It's cold outside. Shailesh said, in a firm but annoyed voice. I am not drunk, I screamed, stumbling on the road and falling on all fours. I twisted my right ankle and it hurt like hell. Can you cut the drama and come back in? Shailesh said. The girls saw me wince and were about to step out when Shailesh stopped them. Are you coming or not? I'm running out of patience, bro, he said. I have to visit 5 bars, I said again, still wincing from the pain of the fall. Chutiya, Shailesh said. He slammed the door shut and the cab zoomed off. A few cold drops fell on my face. I looked up at the sky. Little white snowflakes were falling everywhere. A homeless man offered a hand to help me stand up. Only the most pathetic can help the most pathetic. I have to visit 5 bars, I told the homeless man. 41. I'm so ashamed, I can't even look at you guys, I said, eyes down. I sat at the dining table in Shailesh's house. I had brought muffins, bagels, cream cheese, fresh orange juice, takeaway coffee and fruit from Dean and DeLuca, a neighborhood deli. Shailesh did not respond. When did you come back? And when did you get so much food? Jyoti said. I came back at 6. I tried to sleep but the guilt wouldn't let me. So I went out and got breakfast. Jyoti said, you need not have bothered. We were so worried about you last night. No, we weren't, Shailesh cut Jyoti off. I said to her, sorry, Jyoti. I behaved like an ass in front of your friend. I embarrassed you guys. Luckily, while I be gone soon. Shailesh didn't say anything. He just stared at me without a word. Shailesh, I'm sorry. I had too much wine. I didn't know Greek wine was so potent. That's not the point, Madhav. We all get high and have fun. You disrespected us. Priya felt horrible. You ruined a special evening. I'm sorry. You are right. Did you see yourself? Staggering on the road screaming, 5 more bars. What has happened to you? It's sinking in finally. I might never meet Riya again. It is the realization that my effort was a waste. It got to me yesterday. You are still visiting places. 5 bars, you kept saying. What the fuck, Madhav? I never went. I couldn't. I passed out. How did you get home? Jyoti said. I woke up shivering near a bus stop. Took a cab and came home. Jyoti and Shailesh looked at each other. You might be right, Shailesh. I may need a psychiatrist, I said. Shailesh gave me a sarcastic smile. Jyoti took the cream cheese and applied it on 3 bagels. I took a sip of black coffee. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry I lost control. I hurt you guys, after all you have done for me. Enough is enough. No more visiting live music venues. Really? Promise? Shailesh took a bite of his bagel. Yes. I want to finish my final report. I want to see a bit more of New York, even though it's snowing and cold. More than anything, I want to spend my remaining free time with you both, because who knows when we will meet again. Jyoti smiled. She looked at Shailesh, gesturing for him to forgive me. And if Priya is brave enough to meet me once more, I will apologize to her, too. Shailesh stood up. He came around to give me a bear hug. Is it okay? Say something, I said to him. Idiot you are, what else to say? Shailesh smiled. Bye, Riya Somani, I said in my head. What size? Speak louder, I can't hear you, I said to my mother over the phone. I had come to a store called Century 21 to buy gifts for people back home. Take large size, and get me a cardigan with buttons, she said. I had brought candies for the entire school. It was not the smartest idea. I now needed a new suitcase just to carry the treats. Cardigan is done. Do you need anything else? I need some bras. I heard you get good ones there. Bye, Ma. 1 week before the internship ended, I handed over my final report to Olara. Thank you, Madhav. I look forward to reading your work, he said. Thanks, Olara. You've been a great guide these past few months. Well, you are a bright man. Did you finally apply for a permanent position? I leave for India next Sunday. Olara smiled and patted my back. I returned to my desk. My phone had a missed call from a contact I had saved as Erica, Tribeca Nation singer. Hi, I said as she picked up the call. Hi. Matt Dav, right? She said. Yes, the Indian guy you met at Tribeca Nation. How are you? You were looking for someone, right? Warmth tingled through me. I told myself to calm down. I had promised Shailesh I'd quit. Yes. I was. Any luck? Nope, I said. Okay, so I don't have much. This will confuse you even more. But there could be a new tall Indian girl who sings. What do you mean? I overheard. Who from? Customers at the bar. They spoke about this good-looking singer and were trying to guess her nationality. Indian features, but quite fair-complexioned, that's what they said. So it reminds you. And what else did say? They said she sang quite well. Jazz, a bit of rock. What? No, I mean where? Where did they hear her? Did you ask them? Well, yes. They said at the Union Square Farmers Market on 14th Street. Is it a bar? No, a farmers market is like a street fair. They have organic food stalls, and a couple of random gigs sometimes. So what do I do? I don't know. Sorry, they didn't know more. Will the fair organizers know? I doubt it. It's too huge a place. You call check. Take train number 4 to Union Square. Okay, I said. Sorry, Matt Dav. I said I would confuse you. But that day you said you don't even know if she is here. Well, she might be. Thanks, Erica. 42. Of course, my visit to Union Square proved useless. I didn't have a date or the exact location of the stall. The farmers market is put up in the Union Square quadrangle, a football field-sized area filled with over 100 natural and environment-friendly product stalls. A few stalls featured performances ranging from juggling to music gigs. I passed organic honey and fruit-based soap counters to reach the fair office. Agents book the stalls. Then they call their own musicians on hire. It's quite impossible for us to trace them, a lady at the fair office told me. I took the subway back home. I felt stupid. I had wasted an evening I could have spent with my friends. I reached the 86th Street stop. I walked out to find the streets filled with snow. It was cold and dark. Still, under the city lights, New York, with its historic skyscrapers and modern neon lights, looked pretty. As I walked home, I passed restaurants with cozy interiors. Beautiful people chatted and laughed as they ate their dinner. I wondered if I would ever, even for one day in my life, be carefree like them. On my last Saturday in New York, I decided to visit the tourist attractions. I spent my morning visiting the Rockefeller Center, the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. In the afternoon, I decided to splurge. I went to watch an NBA game. One ticket for the Knicks game, please, I said at the ticket counter. Madison Square Garden, also known as the MSG or simply The Garden, is a multi-purpose indoor arena in Midtown Manhattan in New York City. Located between 7th and 8th Avenues from 31st to 33rd Streets, it is situated atop Pennsylvania Station. I had come to the Garden to watch a playoff game between the New York Knicks and LA Lakers. The Garden cost nearly $1 billion to construct, making it one of the most expensive stadiums in the world. I went inside, and was astonished by what I saw. It was the best basketball court and spectator stadium I had ever seen in my life. The teams had towering players, many of them over 6.5 feet tall. The Lakers wore yellow kits with a purple strip down die side. The Knicks had on blue jerseys with an orange border. I took my seat. It took me a minute to scan the huge arena and figure out all the complicated scoreboards. The crowd of nearly 20,000 roared at every point scored. I was in New York. However, I supported the LA Lakers. They had Kobe Bryant, one of the world's best basketball players and any favorite. He scored the most, over 40 points in the game. I wondered if an Indian player would ever join the NBA. The game ended with the Lakers scoring an easy win. The crowd, exhilarated from the game and the atmosphere, began to trickle out of the stadium. I followed them to the exit. As I came out of the MSG, I saw a couple of elderly people in jackets with the New York City tourism logo, waiting near the exit. An elderly Hispanic woman walked slowly towards me. "Tourist?" she said. "Yes, well, sort of," I said. "How your trip goes?" "Me Daisy, from the Senior Citizens for NYC. Tourism." "Sorry, my English not good. I am Mexico originally." "My trip is going quite well, thank you," I said. "And your English is just fine." I could not believe I had commented on someone else's English. She held a bunch of brochures in her hand. "May I ask the favor? Will you practice English me 5 minutes?" Daisy said. I had to go home and pack. This was an unusual request anyway. I joined adult school to learn English. "To practice I volunteer here tourism department," Daisy persisted. "I actually have to go home." The older man with her took me aside. "Hi, I am Doug, a supervisor for the Senior Citizens for NYC Volunteer Program." I shook hands with him. "Please spare 5 minutes for her. She lives alone. She needs to practice her English," Doug said. "Sir, my English is not so good. I am from India. Indians speak good English. Not all. I am also learning it." "You are speaking good English now." "Well, thank you, sir. Someone must have taught you." I sighed. 5 minutes, Doug said. I nodded. Doug left me with Daisy. "Hello, Madam Daisy. What would you like to talk about? Would you like brochure? To see attractions of weekend?" "Actually, I don't think so. I leave soon," I said, but she interrupted. "TNE. They free. Have look. We have discounted Broadway shows, a food festival, a jazz and music fest." "I will correct you. Please say, they are free, have a look," I said. Sorry. That I say. I leave Monday. So I am afraid I won't be able to do much," I said. She looked disappointed. I figured she had to do her tourism job, too. She possibly had a quota of people she needed to distribute brochures to every day. "Fine, I'll take them. Thank you." "Oh, thank you," she said and cheered up again. "You fill small survey for me. 2 minutes." I put the brochures in my jacket pocket. She gave me a form asking basic details about my visit and myself. "Can I leave now, madam?" I said, as politely as possible. "Enjoy rest of stay," she said and waved me goodbye. Yes. Thank you." I left the MSG compound and came to the street. Peak hours meant cabs would be stuck in traffic forever. I checked the time. It was 7 p.m. I decided to walk the 4-kilometer distance from Madison Square Garden to Shailesh's house. 43. Surprise. A crowd of people screamed as I entered Shailesh's house. Jyoti had arranged an unexpected farewell party for me. Wow, I said as I entered the apartment. I found 20 guests, Shailesh and Jyoti's friends, waiting for me. Hey, Priya, good to see you, I said, wondering if she would slap me. Hi, she said. I'm really sorry about that night. Just go easy on the wine, she said and laughed. I smiled back at her. She was really attractive. Many men at the party had their eyes on her. A black man came up to me. Olara, I said and hugged him. Your friends are damn nice. They dug out my number and invited me. I'm so glad you came. Jyoti dragged me away from Olara to give a short speech. I want to thank Shailesh and Jyoti, who hosted me, and treated me like family, I said. Cut it out, let's party, Shailesh interrupted me. He offered everyone tequila shots and turned up the volume of the music player. Conversations required people to shout. Male bankers huddled together to discuss expected bonuses. The girls made another group. They discussed the best value offers in town, whether on Netflix or Sunday brunch deals in Manhattan. I chatted with a few people. Gates Foundation. They are like huge, man, one banker said to me. I just run a small school day fund, I said. I need a Gates Foundation grant. Do they fund bankers who need an apartment in Manhattan? Said another. Everyone laughed. I spoke to many of those present, but felt little connection with any of them. I stepped away from the crowd and sat on the sofa. I took out my phone to look at the pictures I had taken during the day. I had taken some inside MSG. You watched a Knicks game? I heard Priya's voice from behind me. I turned to look at her. Yes, I went today. Nice pictures. Can I see? She sat down next to me. I flipped through the photos. My phone vibrated. A message from Erica, Tribeca Nation singer. Checking out the Jazz and Music Fest? The message flashed as a notification and disappeared. The phone screen went back to displaying pictures again. Next. Priya said as I didn't touch my phone for a minute. Priya, just a second. I need to send a reply. Oh, sure, I will get a drink, not for you, though, she smiled, wagging a finger at me. I smiled back. I compose a message for Erica. I leave Monday. Almost packed. At my farewell party now. Thanks anyway. She replied, fly safe. Ciao. I looked up. I saw Priya engrossed in conversation with someone at the bar. I shut my phone and placed it in my jacket pocket. I then realized that I was still carrying the brochures Daisy, the old lady, had given me outside Madison Square Garden. I read them one by one. Cats, the longest-running Broadway musical, said the first. Blue Man comedy show, combining music, technology and comedy, said another. One of the brochures was a 16-page thick, A5-sized booklet. It said, New York Music and Jazz Festival Weekend. The room lights had been dimmed, making it difficult for me to read the text. I shifted any seat closer to a candle on the coffee table. 123 performers. 25 venues. 3 days. One city, it said on the booklet cover. The booklet opened with a 2-page spread of the schedule of performances. It was arranged in 3 tables, one each for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Each table had rows for the various time slots. The columns had the names of the singer, the venue and the kind of music and ticket prices. The next 2 pages had details of each venue. The remaining pages had a brief description of each singer, over 100 of them. I read the first one. Abigail, grew up in Boston, degree in jazz music. Started out as a gospel singer. After singing in Boston for 2 years, she moved to New York. Boston Globe called her voice, smooth velvet, that can calm your soul. I went through the names, mostly to pass time. I didn't really belong in my own party. I skimmed through all the descriptions in the alphabetical list. I ignored all the male singers. 20 minutes later, I reached the letter R. Ray, a sparkling new voice on the NY scene. According to the Village Voice, Ray would rather talk about where she is going than where she comes from. This tall exotic beauty sings as good as she looks, according to the Daily News. I stopped at Ray's description. I read it thrice. I flipped back to the schedule to see Ray's lineup. I looked under Saturday, which was today. My index finger ran down the schedule page. Blues, Soul and Contemporary, 10 p.m. 12 a.m. Stephanie, Roger and Ray, Cafe Va. $8 entry, 2 drinks minimum. I turned the page to look up the details of Cafe Va and strained hard to read the tiny print. Cafe Va? An old classic New York bar where many legends have performed in their struggling days. Mexican and American food options. 115 McDougal Street, West Village. Subway 4, 5, 6. Bleeksiar Street F, West 4th Street. What are you doing, bro? Shailesh squeezed my shoulder hard. Huh? I said, startled. It's your party. What the hell are you reading? I put the brochure aside and smiled. Nothing. Just some touristy stuff, I said. You're not drinking? He said. He tapped his thigh in time with the music. No. You know me and alcohol. I can handle you at home. Wait, let me get a drink for you. Shailesh went to the bar. I checked the time on my phone. It said 11:05 p.m. I googled Cafe Va's number and called them. They took 30 seconds to pick up. It seemed like an hour. Hello, Cafe Va? I heard a cheerful male voice, barely audible due to the music in the background. Hi, I am interested in the music and jazz fest performance tonight. Yes, it's on now, sir. It's an $8 cover charge. 2 drinks minimum, the person on the other side recited his rehearsed stuff. I wanted to know if there is a singer called Ray performing tonight. Well, let me see. Yes, we have 3 singers. Hers is the last act. Should be on any time now. Sir, I need to hang up. It's really busy here tonight, and I'm one of the very few servers. Sorry, just one question. Is she there? Can you see her? Huh? The server said, confused. Well, I do see the singers near the stage. I think she is there. What does she look like? Sorry, sir, I hate to be rude, but you want me to take your name down for reservations or something? Can't help you with much else. Yes, just one last thing. Does she look Indian? It's really important. Please. Hold on, the server said. Shailesh came up to me as I was on hold. He gave me a glass of champagne. I gestured a thanks to him. He gave me a puzzled look, wondering who I was calling at this time. The wait seemed endless. Nothing, it is the travel agency who booked my return tickets, I whispered to Shailesh, making up whatever I could on the spot. This late? He said, surprise. I shrugged and excused myself to step aside. Sir? You there? The man was back. Yes, yes. I am. She's definitely not Caucasian white. She isn't black either. She could be Indian. Or I don't know, she's quite light colored, so maybe Spanish or mixed race. Sorry, I can't. I interrupted him. Thanks. That's enough. I'm coming down. Can you hold a place for one? I'm Madhav. Madh what? Just put me down as M. I'm coming. You better be here soon. The acts end at midnight. Shailesh stood right in front of me. All okay with your ticket? He said. Yeah. It's fine, I said and paused before I spoke again. Shailesh, I need to get out. Wah. Exactly, I said, that's where I need to go. Where? I need to get some fresh air. Have you seen the snow outside? Where are you going? He pointed to his balcony. Blobs of snow covered the ledge. Outside his apartment, a steady stream of snowflakes shot down from the night sky. I have a jacket, I said. Shailesh looked bewildered by my sudden desire for a night stroll. Madhav, what do I tell the guests? He said. They will barely notice, I said and left. 44. I stepped out of the apartment building. Cold winds slashed at my face. My phone showed the time as 11:12 p.m. and a temperature of 20 degrees Fahrenheit, or minus 6.6 degrees Celsius. People were all bundled up in gloves, caps and jackets. I saw a group of 4 friends walk towards the 86th Street subway ahead of me. Fresh snow had made the pavements powdery and white. The group of 4 and 1 reached the subway stop. We took the steps down to the metro. Some African Americans were coming up the steps. It's not coming, woohoo, no train tonight, said one of them in a drunk voice. How am I going to get my ass to Brooklyn? His friend said. $100 cab ride, baby. That ass deserves it, another friend said. They all laughed. I reached the customer services counter. A plump African American lady from the Metropolitan Transit Authority, or MTA, sat inside. She made an announcement into a microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, due to heavy snow, we are experiencing huge delays on all lines. A train is stalled in the network near Grand Central. We are trying to remedy the problem. We suggest alternative travel arrangements. I checked the station clock, 11:19 p.m. Google Maps suggested the subway would have taken me to Bleecker Street in 17 minutes. From there, it was a 9-minute walk to the cafe. How much delay? I asked the customer service officer. Who knows, honey, she said. It's snow. Half an hour, 2 hours. Take your pick. I ran up the steps and came out of the station. Cold air sneaked in under the jacket's collar and down my neck. The road had little traffic. I waited but no empty cab went past. I asked a passerby, I need to go to the West Village urgently. Where can I get a cab? Want one myself. I checked the time, 11:25 p.m. Walk west to 5th Avenue. You will hit Central Park. Try there. Someone said. I took rapid strides to 5th Avenue. I reached the periphery of Central Park, near the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Amber lights lit up the museum building. The falling snowflakes created a soft focus effect. Time, 11:31 p.m. If I didn't get a cab, I would not be able to reach West Village before midnight. I couldn't see any cabs. I looked up at the sky to pray. Snowflakes fell on my face. God, please, please, I said. I looked around me. At least 6 more people waited for cabs. My heart sank. I wanted to cry. "One cab, please," I said, waiting for magic to happen. No cabs. Time, 11:34 p.m. I reopened Google Maps. I checked the distance from my current location at the Met Museum to Cafe Va and chose the pedestrian option. It displayed this: walk 4.0 miles, 1h 10 minutes. The route was simple. I had to go straight down south on 5th Avenue for 3.8 of the 4 miles, and then turn right. 4 miles. 6.4 kilometers, I mumbled to myself. An hour and 10 minutes to walk, I thought. If I ran, it would be less. If I ran like a mad dog with a pack of wolves chasing it, even lesser. Madhav Jha, I whispered to myself. Run. I remembered basketball. We used to run and dribble on court all the time. A basketball court is not the same as 6.5 kilometers in -6 degrees temperature, my sensible mind scoffed. Don't think. Don't listen to sense. Just run, I told myself and took off. I ran so fast my surroundings became hazy. Central Park on my right and posh Upper East Side homes on my left whizzed past. My face became numb in the cold air. The jacket began to feel heavy as snow started to seep inside. I had already spent the entire day walking, whether it was for shopping, walking over to Madison Square Garden or back to Shailesh's home. I had not eaten much all day either. My legs began to hurt. "Smon Madhav," I panted, "Smon." Sometimes, when nobody is by your side, you have to become your own cheering squad. I faked a dribble. It made me go ahead to catch my imaginary ball. I checked the street sign, 67th Street. Cafe Va was near 4th. Don't look at street signs. Just run, Madhav, I said aloud. I passed a hotel on my left on 60th Street. It had an Indian flag hanging above the main porch. The PA, a Taj Hotel, a sign said. The Indian flag unleashed a fresh wave of energy in me. Run, I said to myself. You can do this. I reached the most famous part of 5th Avenue, with designer stores on both sides. Tiffany's was on 57th Street, Louis Vuitton on 51st. Riya's journals had mentioned these brands. On 50th Street, I developed a nasty cramp in my stomach. I had to stop. I sat down in a squat and took a few deep breaths. Time, 11:44 p.m. Damn. There is no time. Feel the pain later, I told myself. I couldn't move. I scanned the street for cabs. Nothing. I winced in pain. On my right, I saw the NBA store. The store was shut. It had a huge poster of Kobe Bryant outside. NBA, where amazing happens. It said. Smon, Madhav. Be amazing. I stood up. Without thinking, I started to run again. My legs and abdomen screamed with pain. My nose felt like ice. However, my head felt like fire. I ran, almost jumped with every stride, and looked straight ahead. Snow was in my sneakers, turning my feet cold and wet. Run, 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 I whispered with every breath. I reached a dead end at Washington Square Park. I'm close. Right turn from here. Time, 11:56 p.m. I wanted to rest for a minute. No rest, I scolded myself. I turned right and ran. The noise of music and the crowd outside made me stop. Cafe wa? The lit-up sign greeted me with its bright yellow letters. I pumped my fists. 45. I plonked my elbows on the usher's desk outside. I tried to speak. Snow fell out of my mouth. I gasped. I booked a place for Mr. M. I bent to cough. As my body shook, bits of snow fell off me. Easy there, M. Are you all right? I nodded. Your lips are purple. They may fall off, buddy, the usher said. I rubbed my hands and placed them on my mouth. Cold hands did little to warm up an even colder face. The usher went through his register. Mr. M, yes. But the show is almost ending. It's midnight. Last song probably. Time, 12:01 a.m. The singer is still there, right? I said, still huffing and puffing as I spoke. Hull? Yeah, maybe just doing a bonus song or something. Entry is $8, 2 drinks minimum. You sure? I slapped a $20 bill on his desk and walked in. I reached the bar area. Your 2 drinks, sir? Said a female bartender. Water and water. She gave me 2 bottles of water. I chugged them down in a flash. Where is the performance? I said. Straight left to the concert area. Follow the music. I limped ahead. My legs had given way. I held on to bar stools and I hairs to keep myself from falling. The concert area was a dimly lit room filled with people. The crowd in front of me prevented me from seeing the stage. I elbowed my way through the hordes of people to get ahead. I heard a female voice. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful, it's true. The bright spotlight on the stage contrasted with the dark room. It took a few seconds to spot the singer. It was her. Riya. The water bottle fell from my hand. She sang with her eyes closed, completely engrossed in the song. In a full-length, sequined black gown she looked more beautiful than what even God would define as beautiful. Yes, Riya Somani, I found you. She held an acoustic guitar in her hand. A male American pianist accompanied her on stage. She continued to sing. I saw your face in a crowded place, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'll never be with you. My tiredness evaporated. No more aches and pain. Blood flowed through my body again. My face felt flushed and hot compared to the freezing cold a minute ago. She sang from her heart. The crowd loved her and cheered. She opened her eyes between lines and smiled at the crowd's reaction. She had not seen me yet. I removed my jacket and put it on a table. I walked right up ahead to the stage and stood before her. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You're beautiful, it's... Her voice vanished as her eyes met mine. The pianist looked at her surprise, wondering why she had missed her lines. Riya stood up. The guitar looked unsteady in her hand. The pianist filled the gaps with an instrumental interlude. Riya put her guitar aside slowly. I continued to look at her. We stood before each other, silent and frozen. The crowd began to murmur, wondering what was happening. The pianist figured something was amiss. He took the RNIC and continued the song. You're beautiful, it's true. I just kept looking at her. What all you made me go through, Riya Somani, my eyes said. I'm sorry, her eyes said to me. A tear ran down her cheek. Mine too. I thought I would have so much to say to her when I finally met her. I had mentally rehearsed it many times. I would be angry at first. I would shout, tell her how much she had put me through. I would then tell her what she meant to me. How I was not that jerk, Rohan. Or that others may have let her down, but I wouldn't. And that my mother could only be happy if I was. I had my speech all planned. However, neither of us said a word. We just looked at each other and cried, and cried. After some time she stepped forward. That is all Riya Somani does. She gives you a little clue she is ready. You just need to be alert enough to pick it up. I opened my arms. They shook as she came closer. I took her in my arms. I'm sorry, she said. Shush, I said. Remember you placed a condition last time? No questions asked twice. I have one now. What? She said in the softest whisper. No questions at all. In fact, if possible, no words. She buried her face in my chest. I lifted her chin. Riya Somani, I love you. Always have. Always will. Please, never, ever leave me. She shook her head and said, "I won't." I can't. I continued, shush. Because next time I will find you again and kill you. She smiled and cried at the same time. Some of the crowd cheered, even though they were confused about what was going on. The pianist ended the song. The restaurant staff switched on the concert room lights. People began to make their way out. I continued to hold her. Sorry, I left because I got scared. She said. I know. But how did you? She said. I said, no questions. Just one last one. What? Why is your shirt so wet and cold? She said. I laughed. What? She said. Nothing. 46. Upper West, 70th and 6th, she said. We were in a black Lincoln car, which the organizers had arranged for the singers. The car took us to her apartment on the Upper West Side near the western side of Central Park. I can't remember much of the journey except her face and the way it looked in the changing lights. And that the city seemed more beautiful than any other night in the past 3 months. I clasped her hand tightly and leaned back on the seat, just looking at her face. She turned the key and we were in her apartment. There were music posters all over the walls. The window faced the park, now dark, apart from the street lights. She went to the bedroom to remove her makeup. In the bathroom I undressed and noticed the bruises and blisters on my feet. My nose and ears looked raw and red. I took a hot shower. I felt like a pack of frozen peas being thawed. I finished my shower and realized I did not have fresh clothes. A pink oversized t-shirt with a Dora cartoon hung in the bathroom. Perhaps Riya used it as nightwear. I put on the t-shirt, wrapped a towel around my waist and stepped out. Riya laughed as she saw me in the girly t-shirt. Sorry, I didn't. I said. She silenced me with a kiss. Her lips felt like warm honey. She kissed me for a long time, holding my face in her hands. Our tongues gently touched. I placed my left hand on her cheek. My right hand kept my towel in place. She guided my right hand to her back. Her gown was backless, and I felt smooth skin. She removed my pink t-shirt. I tried to remove her gown, but it was too complex a garment for me to understand. I tugged at it, and then gave up. She unzipped a side zipper and stepped out of it. We embraced. We kissed. We touched. We caressed. We reached the bedroom, the bed. Our lips never stopped kissing. Our hands never stopped touching. Every moment felt special as we made love. I entered her, and our eyes met. Both of us felt strong and vulnerable at the same time. I saw tears in her eyes. "You okay?" I said. She nodded. She brought her face close to my ear to whisper. "More than okay. I'm great," she said. "And you?" "More than great," I said. We cuddled afterwards. She slept. I didn't. I looked at her all night. I realized this only when daylight seeped in through the windows. I turned towards her. Her skin glowed in the morning light. Her eyebrows were still perfect. Her eyes were shut. "You sleeping?" I asked her. She nodded. Epilogue. 3.5 years later. "It's easily one of the best schools I have seen," I said. "It was not like this 7 years ago," Madhav said. I finished the tour of the Dumraon Royal School. Madhav had invited me as the chief guest for their annual day function. I passed a music class, from where high-pitched notes could be heard. Madhav knocked on the door. "Riya, Chetan sir," Madhav whispered. "Please don't call me sir," I said. "Sorry," Madhav said. Riya stepped out. Madhav had not lied about her looks. She had classic features and an elegant demeanor. "Chetan sir, finally. Madhav has talked so much about you," Riya said. "No sir. And, trust me, Madhav has told me a lot about you too." She laughed. Madhav told her to finish the class and meet us outside. "It's lovely here," I said. We walked out of the main building into the school garden. Students had decorated the new basketball court with flowers. A function to inaugurate the court was scheduled for later in the evening. "We wanted to call you earlier, but thought it better to invite you here when we had a basketball court," Madhav said. "The court is beautiful. All the equipment is from the US," Madhav said. "Riya and I spend 3 months there every year. She does a few music gigs. I help out at the and also do some marketing of my rural tours." Madhav explained how they had started rural school tours, which included a stay in the Haveli. People came from all over the world, allowing the school to earn revenue in dollars. Tourists spend a day with our kids. They teach them a class, share pictures or talk about their country. They say it is one of the most meaningful things they have ever done in their life. That's innovative. Students love it. They get an exposure to the world. Many tourists send regular grants or gifts to the school later on. "Where's your mother?" "She'll come soon. She spends less time at the school now. Riya and I run it. Shyam keeps Rani Sahiba busy." Madhav laughed. "She is okay about Riya?" I said. "You forget that she saw how I had become without her. She says she is happy to have her son back. Not to mention grandson. Her new darling." "How old is your son now?" "Will turn 2 soon," Madhav said. Here they come. I saw an elderly lady walk towards us holding a little boy's hand in one hand and a large tiffin box in another. The school bell rang. Hordes of kids ran out. Riya joined us. "Everyone's here," she said. Shyam extracted his hand from his grandmother's and came running up to his parents. He looked like a chubby baby version of Riya. "Shyam is too tall and too naughty for his age," Rani Sahiba said when Madhav had introduced us. We sat in the amphitheater seats of the basketball court. Riya served everyone a lunch of chapats, dal and carrot and peas sabji from the tiffin box. Shyam saw a basketball on court. He ran down the amphitheater steps for the ball. Careful, Rani Sahiba said. He's your daredevil grandson, Riya said. Shyam took the ball in his hand. Shoot, Riya said. Shyam took a shot. His little hands couldn't throw the ball high enough to reach anywhere near the basket. He tried 2 more times and failed. He looked at his father. It's not happening, he said. So what? Don't quit. It will happen one day, Madhav said. Table of contents. Girlfriend. My phone beeped. I had a new message. My heart beat fast as I. Is. Phil, do you want to? Mr. Gates said. Epilogue. Document outline. Girlfriend. My phone beeped. I had a new message. My heart beat fast as I. Is. Phil, do you want to? Mr. Gates said. Epilogue.